Hey, how's it going? In this video, what we're going to be talking about is generally how long do Google Ads take to work. Before we get into that, if you do want to see more content like this, more Google Ads related content, really more like junk removal related content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit a like on this video. That really helps my channel. And yeah, so let's kind of get into it. So when we're talking about how long Google Ads takes, what we're talking about, we're not talking about clicks, we're not talking about impressions, nothing like that. It's ultimately about getting a profit for your business. So when you're running Google Ads, there's going to be a process that you need to go through to ultimately bump your conversion rate up high enough, which will then bring down your cost per lead. So once your lead cost is in a good place, you're going to be able to bring in an actual profit from that campaign. And this takes a little bit of time, but we'll get into it in this video what that time frame kind of looks like. Now, this is all assuming that you have everything set up properly, and if you're not sure what that looks like beyond just these few bullet points, I have a whole tutorial video of what that would look like. I'm probably gonna be uploading more around campaign setup stuff further down the line, but this is assuming you're bidding on the right keywords, your ads are set up well, you're sending that traffic to landing pages, and you've got conversion tracking set up on the account. So as long as all that's good, this is kind of roughly how long things should take. So for this example, I'm actually not going to be referencing specifically junk removal, because I'm kind of at a point where I have a lot of things dialed in for that campaign. It doesn't like work immediately, but it usually works faster than, if I were to go into another niche and create a campaign for that. So what I'm going to be referencing is, it's actually a case study I have on the channel. It's for concrete and masonry. I ran a campaign a while ago for that, and really wanted to reference that because I think it's a more accurate example of like how long a campaign should take. And what I'm going to do with this video, I'm going to go through step by step so you can also get like context as to like why it takes how long, as opposed to just saying, all right, it's 3 months and then ending the video at that. So we're gonna go through each week one, month two, all that kind of stuff, and then I'll kind of break down why it takes as long as it does to get things working. So in this example, like I mentioned, we're gonna be talking about that concrete campaign. So month one for that campaign, it probably converted around like 18% of clicks, which compared to a lot of other campaigns is usually, and I don't want to like pat myself on the back too much, but usually 18% is higher than what a lot of people are getting from their campaigns. But that's not the ceiling of where you want to be. Month two, converting around like 25% of clicks. And then month three, that's when it started hitting like 30% plus conversion rates on the account. So it's a process. It takes a bit of time, but we'll get into that in just a second. So obviously the first step of everything is you got to build out the campaign. As you might imagine, there's not going to be any ROI here. This is kind of laying the foundations. You're going to be building the landing pages, doing the keyword research. So usually with the keyword research, this is a big part of the optimization process going further down the line. When you're building a list of keywords, you're essentially finding what you believe are going to be high quality keywords for the account, like high intent, high quality keywords, people searching for like junk removal near me, junk removal in my city, things like that. And you're building a list and you're kind of starting there. Because ultimately when you're starting a campaign, you don't know specifically what's going to work the best in a given market. So you're kind of starting with a best guess and working on it later, and we'll touch on that. And then on top of building the keyword list, you're building out the campaign, putting the ads in, all that kind of stuff. So there's not going to be any ROI there. Usually from then, you're going to launch it. It's going to be week one. Week one is usually not a lot of action. It's usually pretty underwhelming. And usually whenever I launch a campaign, it just never does exactly what I want it to do. Even if I have, run a campaign multiple times before, I'll still take that campaign, put it in another market, and it usually just doesn't do what you want it to do. But we're going to work on that moving forward. So the reason why that is a lot of times early on the campaign is going to be going through like a learning process. Over the years, Google has kind of automated a lot of things with their bidding strategies, with the way their ads kind of optimize to perform the best. All of that is a learning. Like Google kind of has its own little brain that is learning what works best with your account in that market. So week one, it's usually just kind of sorting itself out. Usually whenever I hit go on an account, it might take 3 days to even like get a click. I think the most recent campaign I launched, day 1 and day 2, it's like day 1 we got like 5 impressions, day 2 it was 25 impressions, and then day 3 we finally saw a few clicks come through. So it takes a little bit of time. Week 1, don't expect really much. Even if you do have a campaign that's been proven out before, week 1 can be pretty underwhelming. So the rest of month 1, we're going week 2 through the rest of month 1. This is pretty much where that optimization process starts. You're going to see which keywords are working, which keywords aren't working. And through that process, you're going to be able to start trimming out some of those keywords. The whole idea with this, getting a campaign from its beginning state to like a fully optimized, profitable lead generating state is you have to keep stacking these little changes on top of each other every single week. So it's where it's at week 1 is going to be completely different. Assuming all this is done properly, it's going to be completely different to where it is in, month 4 or something like that. So generally month 1, don't expect too much. I usually try to set the expectation of month 1 will probably, like, if you can break even month 1, on like your return on ad spend, I think that's a really good place. There's no guarantee that you will break even, but with the campaign that I ran in concrete and masonry, by the end of month 1, we were looking at somewhere around like an 18% conversion rate, and the cost per lead was still high. It was like $75 to $100, which is obviously not ideal. But the whole idea is like that's not just how it's going to perform forever. That's going to bring us to month 2. What's going to happen in month 2 is you need to do even more optimization over the course of this month. Usually on my end, depends on how much you're spending. If it's, a reasonable amount that you're spending, you could do optimizations like once a week. And pretty much what you're doing, you're going in, again, you're going to be looking at the keywords, what's performing, what's not performing, and then you're trimming out what's not performing. The whole idea with Google Ads is you want to just allocate more of your money towards what's working and stop spending money on what's not working. So looking at the keywords, as long as you're tracking conversions, making sure you're seeing where your leads are coming from, you're going to be able to see, all right, I'm getting leads from these 3 keywords, but this 4th keyword, I have 10 clicks on it. I haven't gotten the lead, so you just pause that keyword, just get rid of it. And the more you stack up those kind of changes, the better it's going to perform over time. On top of that, you're going to be adding in negative keywords, which is essentially telling Google, like, I don't want my ads showing up for this. So you're doing more of that. During month 2, you're going to be able to see more data on your ads. So you're going to see which ads are working better than others, and you're going to be able to make changes there as well. You're going to be able to change your device bids, which is essentially, I'm not going to get too in the weeds with this stuff, but device bids, which is how much of your budget you're allocating towards desktop users versus mobile phone users. Your ad schedule, which is which days your ads are running. You can do a lot of tweaking and changing and all that kind of stuff. That's well beyond the scope of this video, but the long story short is month 2 is just going to be more of that. And with the concrete campaign that I was running at this point, we were probably around like a 25% conversion rate, and the cost per lead was probably down to around like $50 or so. So pretty solid point. I know at this point they were starting to get some jobs coming through the campaign. And overall, month 2, again, I wouldn't have this expectation like you're going to start printing money month 2, but the whole idea is if you can get, to break even or a little beyond break even month 2, like you start getting a little bit of profit month 2, you're starting to see some results from the campaign. That's a pretty solid place. And then month 3 is really where, for myself personally, and kind of the expectations that I like to set, month 3 is where you're going to see usually the best results start to show. This is where you've gone through 3 months of stacking up those optimizations. And as long as you've been doing those at least every single week, if you're spending more, like if you're allocating more budget to the campaign, you could do 2 optimizations a week. Like you're gonna have enough data going through the account to make more changes. And as long as you keep stacking those up, you're gonna start to see everything kind of compound by this point. So at this point in month 3, like by the end of month 3, this is generally where I want to see a campaign generating profit, or at least generating leads at a solid enough cost per lead that it makes sense for the business. So with a concrete campaign that I was running, it was at this point, this is pretty much where it started converting about like 30% of those clicks into leads, which is a really solid place to be. Usually on average, a lot of campaigns on the high end might be converting like 10%. If people are driving traffic to their website, like their website homepage, that could be as low as 4 or 5 to 7 maybe percent. So, stacking those changes up over those 3 months got us to that place, and beyond that point, it was a lot more profitable. So this doesn't just stop at month 3. You want to go beyond month 3. Just because you hit that point, it doesn't mean you just stop work on the account. It's all about continuing to stack those changes up over time. And if you keep stacking those changes up, the better that campaign is going to perform. And really the longer it's going to sustain that performance over the long term. So, it's to kind of bring it back to the point of this video, month 3 is usually, if I were to give kind of like a blanket statement, like that's usually where you're going to see your campaign really working. But beyond month 3 is where the money is kind of really made with the campaign. You're going to be able to take that from maybe let's say month 3, you're at a 20 to 25% conversion rate. Beyond month 3, that's where you're going to take that conversion rate to, 30 to 35 kind of thing. And once you're in that range, you're going to cut down your cost per lead even more, and it's going to be even better for you. So when we're talking about kind of bringing this back to junk removal, what should those numbers look like? Like, what does a successful campaign look like? This is all, again, kind of depending upon your close rate of the leads and assuming everything is set up right and the lead quality is good. Usually I try to shoot for somewhere around like $35 a lead. It can be higher, it can be lower, depending on how competitive the market is. And this is as of April 2022. Those costs can go up, they can go down. Really depends upon the competition, how many more people get into the market. But if you're shooting for about $35 a lead, that's a really good spot for junk removal. Ideally, if you can hit those numbers around month 3, that's really, really good. You'll be in a good spot to have a profitable campaign. It could take longer than 3 months. It could take less time than 3 months, but that's kind of like a rough estimate on where you want to be, how long it should take. And, but I guess kind of the whole disclaimer I can put around this whole video is, especially in marketing, like nothing is perfect. Nothing will always work out the way you want it to work out. I know that firsthand launching a bunch of different campaigns, and sometimes you have to do some extra work to get it performing the way you want. But as a general rule of thumb, to kind of recap the video, month 1, don't expect much. Not to say you won't get leads or things will completely tank or anything like that. As long as things are set up properly, like you will see leads. Like leads will come in. It's just not going to be at an ideal level. So if you can break even month 1, that's awesome. But really look at month 1 as kind of like you're investing in the data so you can start that optimization process. Month 2 is when you're going to be able to do more optimizations. And if you can start getting it to break even a little bit of profit month 2, that's a good spot. But then month 3, that's when things really compound and you're going to be able to kind of get the campaign going in the direction that you want it to go. And that's when you're going to start seeing profit. It's right around month 3 is usually kind of the expectation I set for people. So that's sort of it. And this also, it doesn't just apply to junk removal. This is pretty much any business that's running a Google Ads campaign. Those are kind of the targets you should set, is trying to get profit coming through the campaign around month 3, and then beyond that is just, it'll keep getting better and better. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it valuable. If you do want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. That's always very appreciated, helps me out and helps kind of get the content out to more people who it might help. And if you are running a Google Ads campaign or you have an account right now and you want kind of a second opinion on it, I do offer completely free Google Ads audits. And what that looks like, it'll be a video where I will go into the account, kind of give you a full, report of findings, and then give you really kind of a plan of action, as if, if I were to go into that account and do work on it, I would pretty much just put that together in a video, send it over to you, and give you essentially what all the things I would do for the account is what I'm trying to say, and pass that off to you. You can use it however you want. And yeah, I will link other videos down in the comments, in the description. And, I've got a full tutorial you can check out, all that kind of stuff. If you want to follow me on social media, those will be down there as well. But for the time being, I'm going to leave it at that. Hope you got some value out of this video. And if there's anything else you want to see, drop in the comments below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks.